Here's just out my office window. Now there's a whole line of them coming all along. There's a bunch behind the bush there you can see. This is all my property here. They're coming out of the bush to go eat for the evening. And there'll be more coming. And there's usually about 20 of them out there every night, so the elk, if they, I noticed the other day the elk went into this field, the ones I saw on my way to Brandon, but they don't come out till after dark. So, not going to see them for a while. That's just a view of my property from my office. There's Lexi's trampoline. Used to sit here and watch coyotes run around there too, but they've been thinned out pretty good. Anywho, hey guys, a while back when we when I did that, stackable Fisher Martin box, one of the viewers had asked if there's any way you could set two traps in there at the same time to take advantage of that, and I explained that no, that wouldn't be possible. It was mainly for so you could use three different types of traps. But I told them I would build a set that I used to use in Ontario every once in a while. I never had a lot of these. I probably had 6, well, definitely less than 10 on my whole trap line. And it was only in areas where I had tons of marten travel all the time. Like I would go there quite regular, have marten in the trap and have other martens there eating the bait and stuff like that. So now this one, what I used in Ontario was 120s because I had no fisher running around. But so I just built one of the boxes so that you can see what it was like. Now this can get built for any size of traps. I've got this built because next fall I'm going to be doing a little bit of trapping out in the farmland again. But I'm going to, I think, stay out there right into the dry fur season, into maybe for 2 weeks in November, or a week in November, at least 10 days maybe, just so that I can get I'll snag some fishers and maybe some coon out in the farmland, but it's mainly for some coyotes, so I can do some coyote trapping out in the farmland. And this is that's where I'm going to be setting this box, and I'll make a bunch more because it's going to be in a place where I'm not going to be, going all the time. Now, mind you, these are 160s I'm putting in here, so you'll see. I mean, they'll work fine for 160s too. But anyways, here's the box. I would just, if this was a 160 set in there, I would block around there with some sticks. Let me show you what I mean. you know, I'd cut a few sticks, shove them up through the spring right here and up like that to block that area, and then the same thing over here, and then some spruce boughs around there. Now a 220 is going to fit in there perfectly. But what this is, obviously, you can see the trap here, and then the other end is the same thing. And in the middle, you have this lid here that's wired shut. It's got a hinge on it. You don't have to have a hinge, you can just have it blocked off with like 2 wires tied down. And it's got the bait area in the center here. So an animal gets caught in this trap here, you know, falls off, then goes to, you know, a next animal comes by and he might try and get in here, but he still can't get at the bait. So he's going to come around and work his way around over to here, trying to get at that bait and get caught. Now, when I was using this set for marten in Ontario, I always had this, what I did was I took a good sized tree and I nailed 2 poles, one on each side of the tree, over to another tree, and had the set laying flat, just like it is there. But it can easily be put into a hanging, you know, an up and down set, just by putting in a trap holder right here, so that the bottom trap, you know, has got something to grab onto and stays there. But I like it as a level set, you know, just for the reason then you don't have to fart around with these traps trying to get them on the trap holder, and because a 220 you would not have room for your hand in here to get it onto the trap holder. So anyways, that's for the fellow that was asking about the, you know, setting 2 traps in one box. You know, it doesn't have to be near this big. You know, as long as you've got the box between here and the bait, enough room to, you know, have the trap close without catching that screen. So you could cut, you know, 8 inches out of this side and 8 inches out of the other side. And, you know, this one here is about, here, I've got a tape measure right here. This is just some wood that I had laying around, so I just used it. No way it needs to be this big. Like I said, this one's 38 inches long. So you could cut 16 inches out of it easy and still have a perfectly good working double set and save money on the wood. Alright. And like I said, that's for, you know, it's overkill if you're in an area where you're not, you know, there's not a ton of animals, but if you've got a few places on your line where, you know, say you've got a fisher in the trap and you see other fisher tracks there all the time, or a marten in the trap and then you see fisher tracks, you know, it's a great way to snag that extra animal that's coming by. You know, and I'm going to use some of these on the, if I trap the farmland next fall, you know, because, you know, for the, well, sole reason that I'm only going to be doing it for a couple of weeks out there, and so I'm going to want to hammer them as hard as I can and get everything cleaned up in 2 weeks, because I don't want to do this, use these things on my trap line, because like I said, I could go out there, you know, it's only 33 square miles, I could go out there and clean the entire thing out in, you know, 3-4 weeks or so, and then, you know, do nothing all winter, and what fun is that? This way at least I get to go out and, you know, clean up. And I know, I remember back on one of the trappers chats we had, you know, one of the questions was, how far apart do we put our traps? Now I keep mine at least a half a mile apart. You know, several reasons for that. And again, the same thing, I don't want to clean my line out in no time, because I want it, and I know it costs money on gas and everything, but that's not, I'm not doing this for the money. I do this to get out in the bush and just be out there. And it's just, if I don't have traps set, it's hard for me to convince my wife I need to go out in the bush. But anyways, like Norm from Time on the Line said, well, he has them a quarter mile apart, and yeah, if you're going up and you've got, you know, a month to do all your trapping, yeah, you're going to want to lay out a lot of traps to get it done in a hurry. Whereas I'm the opposite. I don't want to get done in a month. So that, you know, that's something that really, you know, you consider about how many traps you put out and the distance between them. And the other reason being, you know, some places I have at least 3/4 of a mile between the traps, and that would be because halfway in between those traps I have a marten nesting box, and I don't want to, you know, female marten generally have about a half mile hunting area, and so if they're you know, centered on my marten boxes, then, you know, I'll give them a quarter mile on each side, but then, you know, I'll give them a little extra just in case, because I'd prefer not to catch the adult females, the breeders, and that's another reason why that's the two reasons why I have such distance between my my marten sets. So anyways, there you go. So that's you know, cool. Now all I got to do is, you know, drill a few holes in the sides there so that I can wire that box to a couple cross poles, and that'll be her. And like I said, then, you know, if you don't even need a big tree, anything like even this big is good, you know, 2 6-inch trees, because then the poles, this thing will sit very stable on it. You wire them to those 2 poles. The 6-inch trees, they you know, they're not so tall obviously, and you're not going to have to worry about the wind going like this back and forth and then, you know, pulling those nails out of the trees. And then you're going to put a running pole right up here from the ground up to the crossers, just to make it a little easier for them to climb up there. And, you know, the easier you make it for them, the more chance they're going to go and do it. Even if they're not hungry, they might just say, what the heck, I'll climb up there to investigate. Alrighty, so that's the double Connie Bear set for marten fisher. You could use it for coon too, whatever. Alright, later. Hey guys, we're in the shed here. Got my first order of new traps in to replace all those ones that I'm not going to be using anymore. And I just want to show you them here, and also let's go with, so here's one of my old marten boxes, okay, and this is the ones I use for mink. Now I build them with 2x6, as you can see, for the main reason that it's so much stronger. It's 2x6 and plywood on the sides. You know, I know in all the books it tells you use 1x8 on all 4 pieces, but 1x8, you know, all a bear has to do is play around with them for a minute, and those 1x8s are split to pieces. These boards with the 2x6 on the front and back, and I'll also show you, like I use the back one, I keep it up about 4 or 5 inches longer, sometimes, you know, even as much as 6 inches, depends on, you know, if the piece of wood is 6 inches longer, that's what I leave it. I don't bother, but I keep it up higher for this reason here. When it's set for mink, this is like a snow guard. It stops a lot of snow from blowing in here and plugging up the trap. But anyways, and then when you hang it, you're not worried about, you know, the nail sticking right through here and it's sticking out a little too far, maybe the trap getting caught on it, whatever. But it works good for me. But anyways, like I said, the 2x6 with plywood on the sides is so much stronger. It's like I used to lose a dozen boxes a year, you know, from bears. Pretty much all they got to do is knock them out of the tree and play with them for a second, and the things are split all to pieces. These things here, they're still all over the ground all the time from the bears and whatnot, but they're very rarely broken anymore. And if you go with, you know, this is 1/2-inch plywood, but it's all scrap plywood I pick up at the dump. See, this was somebody's kitchen cabinet or something, you know, it's got Mac tack or whatever the heck that stuff is called. on the outside. Just whenever I go to the dump, if there's plywood there, I grab it and use it. But the problem you see with my old boxes are built for those old traps. Now here's, like I have, you know, a couple dozen of the Belial 120s. But you see they will not, because of the bend of the trap jaw, they will not fit in here. Not only will not even fit in here, even if you can jam them in, the trigger is up against there, and it's just a, well, you can't jam in. See, like you can go at an angle like that. But anyways, so that's why, you know, I was looking at, you know, which trap to buy, and everybody told me the, you know, the Savageos are too big for the old boxes also. So what I did is I ordered a dozen of the Savageos and a dozen of these LDLs, which are a nice looking trap, good strong springs on them. And you know, the one thing I do like about them really is that both jaws that have the dog and the trigger on it are protected from any fur contact. And these things fit inside here really nice. You know, those are just perfect. So I figured, well, I'm going to end up buying, you know, just all of these things because they fit in these old boxes perfect. And because of the bend in the jaws right here, they that trigger is always open, no matter, it cannot get jammed up against there. The only thing I would say to LDL is, you know, get some different safeties on them. Either, you know, the ones like the Savageos or the Belial. You know, everybody knows I don't particularly like the Belial ones because they're such a pain in the butt to move up and down, but you know, everybody told me that they'll loosen up a little bit if you squeeze them, and yeah, they do. They still hold, you know, position quite well, but you can move them a lot easier, so that's better. So that was the LDLs, and here's the Savageos. And yeah, they don't quite fit. Now I'm gonna try it on the, and that's the other thing about these compared to the Belials. The Belials, I don't even know why they have two trigger settings on the dog, or two settings on the dog, because they will not, you can't set it on the inside one. But I'm gonna see here. Now if you set this Savageo on the farthest out trigger position, it fits in there fine. And I'm gonna see, it looks like it won't have a problem firing, but I'm gonna just double check it and see. So what do I got that right here? And I'm gonna take the safeties off just to see how far this thing will come out of the box once it's sprung, if it springs. Oh yeah, it doesn't come flying out, it springs very well. And this was what I wonder, I don't know about this trigger on this. If anybody else has been using these, let me know how this trigger, this 4-prong trigger, like they're so soft. It's unreal. You know what, I'm going to set another one, and I'm going to show you something that I know. You see how this trigger got jacked up there, jammed in? And the other thing about these Savageos are the springs on these things are holy moly. These are 160 springs on a 120 trap. And that is a lot of power. You know what? Well, when I make any more, I'm going to have to, instead of, you see, the Belials are quite a bit too long. This is like a 1/4 inch, the trap is a 1/4 inch too long. It just doesn't quite, I think it's still going to spring okay, but I'm going to just start making my boxes instead of this plywood here, instead of 9 inches, I'm going to go 9.5 inches. But when you're setting a trap, either, you know, with the trap on the bottom going up, what you always want to do is make sure that the trigger itself is set so that when the animal is springing it, it's pushing it to the center of the trap. Not like this, where the animal's going to push the trigger out. That's how it ends up. You remember that marten on that video that got caught in the trap and ended up getting out? Because the trigger went down, the jaw went on the outside of the trigger, or in between them, and got jammed right there. And that's what held it open enough so that that animal was able to get out of the trap. Okay, and it's kind of odd because it fits perfectly that way, but this way it seems like it's too tight. But I will see if it'll still spring it. Where is my piece of springing material? Right there. Yeah, see? That's not quite. I had to jiggle that around a little bit. But I could easily fix that. I'm just going to cut a groove in all these boxes right here so that the trigger has a spot to sit in without being jammed against the wood. All I'm going to do is just, with my jigsaw, just cut a little V in there about a ½ inch in, and that'll be good. Anyways, so there we go. And like I said, these, you know, like, I mean, these are a nice looking trap, but seriously, that's the piece of dog crap chain you're going to put on there? Come on, guys, be serious here. I mean, it's stainless steel. It's not going to hold the die worth of crap. But, you know, and the other thing too, now the Savage Joes, they don't come with a, like the Beaver ones have the, you know, the long swivel wire with a clip on the end, but these ones, you got to buy it separately, which is just kind of chintzy to me, but I guess it's how you keep costs down, same as all the guys that make the bags of chips and chocolate bars. They don't want to raise the price too much, so they just keep making less and less in the bag. But anyways, cool, those traps are going to work well. I'm thinking, like I said, I love the safeties on those Savage Joes. These ones are the old-fashioned kind, which are not bad. Anybody who's used these Savage Joes, let me know about, you know, I just worry too about these 160 springs on there, if that's, you know, going to cause any kind of too much pressure on the marten. You're going to get severe freezer burn on there, or what, but I don't know. But these triggers, I don't know that I like that. I like to have the animal to, you know, a spot where he thinks he can get his head through there and fart around, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. I don't know if I ever told you guys one time I made a mistake. You know, I was doing something and I thought I did it wrong, but it turned out I didn't. So, anyways, haha, I know. Anyway, let's just move that off to the side here. We'll actually get out of there before I catch myself in it. And also dump this Belial. See, there's no way I can fix the Belial because it's not the trigger that is stopping it. It's the four corners because of that bend right there. So you know, those ones I'll just have to make new boxes to use them, or use them in my my Fisher Martin boxes. Alrighty. But here's, you know, I got a whole crap load of snare stuff too. You know, there's all kinds of wire there. And I got a bag of 100 good wolf locks. Or 50 or 100, whatever's in there. I can't remember what I ordered. Let me see. Wolf locks. Let me see. cam locks. Oh, 5 dozen, so 60 of them. Alrighty. And whatever you do, get yourself a pair of these things. Man, you've never seen nothing that cuts cable like that. You know, I used to use pliers all the time. And the pliers, you know, they fray the wire. And this stuff will take, you know, anything from like this thin stuff to the 1/8 cable and cut it like nothing. And you watch. And look how clean that cuts that. Instead of having the wire frayed, and I'll show you on this one. This is not an 1/8. It's just one step under an 1/8. Maybe 3/32, I think this is. What did it say there? Yeah, 3/32. 2 steps under. You just walk. See, and just no pressure at all. And look at how clean that cut is. Just a real nice piece of equipment. Okay. There's some of them. These have it pulled out. I bought some of these guys. Oh, and also bought some Savage 160s. I'm going to get some more of them. I love those things. And then I will also get some 220s as well. But anyways, I bought some of these beaver trap holders now. I'm going to go grab myself one of the 12-inch, because I don't think they're going to fit in there. Those are going to be for all the regular size traps. So I prefer one with a spring set. There's one spring set anyways. Yeah, I know, I got to get all that crap put away. Too much to do, not enough time. There. See if this thing even fits in that. Now this is for the regular size Connie Bears. I think they make them for these 12-inch wide ones, but this doesn't fit in there, so I'll have to use it only with the smaller Connie Bears, which I have a lot of, so that's not a big deal. Safety back on there. And let it go. But cool. These things are gonna, they're just gonna be neat. You know, I'll carry a couple with me when I'm setting beaver traps, and when I get serious setting beaver traps, I'll carry all of them. If I find nice channels, just another time-saving thing. Instead of having to, you know, fart around with cutting poles and doing whatever. So, anyways. So, that's just, oh, other thing. My new number 3 soft catches for lynx. And I can use them for coyotes too when in the fall if I do some coyote trapping out in the fields. I'll loosen that up a little bit. That's a little tight. Not too tight for links anyways. That's not much pressure on there. Alrighty. Yeah, I better get this thing sprung too. Okay guys, there we go. My shipment. Alrighty. Catch you later.